What if I told you that one of Hollywood's most beloved actors just got hit with a lawsuit that could end his entire career? Ryan Reynolds, the man behind Deadpool and countless box office hits, is now facing a staggering $400 million lawsuit connected to the movie It Ends With Us. And the allegations? They're absolutely devastating. Before we dive into this bombshell story, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're about to uncover details that mainstream media isn't talking about. This situation is developing by the hour, and you're not going to want to miss a single update. Now, you might be wondering how Ryan Reynolds even connects to It Ends With Us. After all, that movie starred Blake Lively, who happens to be Reynolds' wife, and was directed by Justin Baldoni. But here's where things get complicated, and trust me, this rabbit hole goes deeper than you could ever imagine. Let's start from the beginning. It Ends With Us was supposed to be a straightforward adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel about domestic violence and emotional healing. The book had millions of devoted fans, and when Blake Lively was cast as the lead character Lily Bloom, excitement was through the roof. Justin Baldoni, who also starred in the film as the male lead Ryle, took on directing duties. Everything seemed perfect for what should have been a guaranteed hit. But behind the scenes, something was brewing. And that something has now exploded into a legal nightmare that's threatening to take down not just the people directly involved in the film but also Ryan Reynolds himself. The lawsuit, filed just hours ago, contains allegations that are so serious they could reshape how we think about power dynamics in Hollywood. We're talking about claims of manipulation, financial misconduct, and breach of fiduciary duty. But what makes this case particularly explosive is how it allegedly connects Reynolds to decisions made during the production and marketing of It Ends With Us. Here's what we know so far. The plaintiff, whose identity is being protected under court seal for now, claims that Reynolds used his considerable influence in Hollywood to interfere with the creative and business decisions surrounding It Ends With Us. Remember, Reynolds isn't just Blake Lively's husband. He's also one of the most powerful producers in Hollywood, with his own production company and connections that run deep throughout the industry. The allegations suggest that Reynolds allegedly pressured key stakeholders to make decisions that would benefit his wife's career and his own business interests, even when those decisions went against the best interests of the film and other parties involved. We're talking about claims that he allegedly influenced everything from script changes to marketing strategies to distribution deals. But here's where it gets really interesting. The $400 million figure isn't just pulled out of thin air. According to the lawsuit, this represents the alleged lost revenue and damaged reputation that resulted from what the plaintiff calls a coordinated campaign to manipulate the film's production and release. Now, you might be thinking this sounds like typical Hollywood drama, but legal experts are saying this case is different. The specificity of the allegations and the financial documentation being presented suggest this isn't just someone looking for a quick payday. This appears to be a carefully constructed legal strategy that's been in the works for months. Let's talk about the timeline here because it's crucial to understanding how we got to this point. It Ends With Us was released in August of 2024 to massive box office success, earning over $350 million worldwide. But even during the promotional tour, there were visible signs of tension between the cast and crew. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, who should have been working together to promote their film, barely appeared together at public events. Social media was buzzing with speculation about behind-the-scenes drama. Fans noticed that Baldoni wasn't following any of the main cast members on social media, and that Lively seemed to be distancing herself from the director in interviews. At the time, most people assumed this was just typical creative differences. Maybe Baldoni wanted to focus more on the serious domestic violence themes, while Lively preferred a lighter promotional approach. But according to this new lawsuit, the reality was much more sinister. The plaintiff alleges that Reynolds was pulling strings behind the scenes, using his industry connections to marginalize Baldoni and other key figures associated with the film. The lawsuit claims that Reynolds allegedly viewed Baldoni as a threat to his wife's career trajectory and took steps to minimize the director's influence and credit. Now, here's where the allegations get really specific and damaging. The lawsuit claims that Reynolds allegedly interfered with post-production decisions, pushing for changes that would make Blake Lively's performance more prominent while diminishing other aspects of the film. We're talking about alleged pressure to reshoot scenes, alter the marketing focus, and even influence award season campaigns. But the most damaging allegation might be the claim that Reynolds allegedly used his business relationships to influence distribution and promotional decisions. Remember, Reynolds has deals with major studios and streaming platforms through his various business ventures. The lawsuit suggests he allegedly leveraged these relationships in ways that violated industry ethics and potentially broke contractual agreements. The financial allegations are particularly complex. The $400 million figure allegedly represents not just direct losses, but also the long-term damage to careers and business relationships that resulted from Reynolds' alleged interference. We're talking about claims that his actions allegedly prevented certain parties from receiving proper credit, compensation, and future opportunities. What makes this case even more explosive is that it's not just about money. The lawsuit allegedly includes claims about emotional distress and reputational damage. In Hollywood, your reputation is everything. And if these allegations are proven true, they could have devastating consequences for everyone involved. Legal experts are already weighing in on the case, and their assessments are sobering. Entertainment lawyer Sarah Mitchell, who's handled similar high-profile cases, told reporters that the specificity of these allegations suggests the plaintiff has substantial evidence to back up their claims. She noted that $400 million lawsuits don't get filed lightly, especially when they involve A-list celebrities with teams of expensive lawyers. But here's what's really concerning for Ryan Reynolds. Even if he ultimately wins this case, the damage to his reputation could be irreversible. Reynolds has built his brand on being the likable, witty, everyman actor who audiences trust and adore. These allegations paint a picture of someone who allegedly uses his power to manipulate situations behind the scenes, which is completely at odds with his public persona. The timing of this lawsuit is also significant. Reynolds is currently in production on several major projects, including the next Deadpool film and various business ventures through his companies. A prolonged legal battle could jeopardize these deals and cost him millions in lost opportunities, even beyond whatever he might have to pay if he loses the case. Blake Lively's career is also hanging in the balance. While she's not directly named as a defendant in the lawsuit, the allegations suggest she was allegedly aware of and potentially benefited from her husband's alleged interference. This could damage her relationships with directors, producers, and other actors who might now question whether working with her comes with unwanted complications. The response from Reynolds' legal team has been swift but careful. In a statement released just hours after the lawsuit was filed, his attorneys categorically denied all allegations and called the lawsuit a transparent attempt at extortion. They've indicated they plan to file a countersuit for defamation and abuse of process. But here's what's interesting about their response. Instead of providing specific denials of the alleged actions, they've focused more on attacking the plaintiff's motives and credibility. Legal experts say this could indicate they're more concerned about the evidence than they're letting on publicly. The entertainment industry is watching this case closely because it could set precedents for how power and influence are wielded behind the scenes. If the allegations are proven true, it could lead to new regulations and oversight measures that change how business gets done in Hollywood. Social media is absolutely exploding with reactions to this news. Fans of Ryan Reynolds are largely defending him, pointing to his charitable work and seemingly genuine public persona. But others are noting that this kind of alleged behavior wouldn't be unprecedented in an industry known for power plays and manipulation. The It Ends With Us fan community is particularly divided. Many readers of Colleen Hoover's book felt the film adaptation didn't fully capture the novel's emotional depth and complexity. Some are now wondering if the alleged behind-the-scenes interference contributed to their disappointment with the final product. Justin Baldoni hasn't commented publicly on the lawsuit yet, but sources close to the director say he's been consulting with his own legal team about potentially joining the case or filing related claims. Remember, Baldoni not only directed the film but also starred in it, and has his own production company that was involved in bringing the project to life. The financial implications of this case extend far beyond the $400 million claim. Reynolds' various business ventures, from his gin company to his telecommunications investment, could all be affected by negative publicity from this lawsuit. Brand partnerships and endorsement deals worth hundreds of millions of dollars could be at risk. What's particularly damaging about these allegations is how they allegedly reveal a pattern of behavior rather than isolated incidents. The lawsuit suggests that Reynolds' alleged interference in It Ends With Us was part of a broader strategy to advance his wife's career at the expense of others in the industry. The case also raises questions about spousal privilege and whether Blake Lively could be compelled to testify about conversations she had with her husband regarding the film. Legal experts say this could become one of the most closely watched aspects of the proceedings. Industry insiders are already speculating about how this case might affect other projects in development. Reynolds and Lively have several joint ventures in the works, and studios might now think twice about greenlighting projects that involve both spouses, especially if this lawsuit reveals evidence of problematic behind-the-scenes behavior. The allegations also touch on broader issues of gender dynamics and power in Hollywood. Some observers are noting that if these claims are true, they represent exactly the kind of systemic problems that movements like Me Too were designed to address. The idea that powerful men allegedly manipulate situations to benefit their spouses while harming others' careers strikes at the heart of industry reform efforts. What happens next will likely depend on the strength of the evidence the plaintiff can present. In high-profile cases like this, both sides typically engage in extensive pre-trial discovery, where documents, emails, and other evidence are exchanged. This process could reveal even more damaging information, or could vindicate Reynolds if the allegations prove unfounded. The court of public opinion is already rendering its verdict, though, and that could be just as damaging as any legal outcome. In the age of social media, celebrity scandals can destroy careers almost instantly, regardless of what ultimately happens in court. For Blake Lively, this situation is particularly precarious. She's scheduled to begin filming a major studio project next month, and there are already whispers that producers might delay or reconsider her involvement depending on how this lawsuit develops. The broader implications for Hollywood are also significant. If these allegations lead to proven misconduct, it could result in new industry guidelines about how spouses of powerful actors and producers can be involved in projects. We might see new disclosure requirements or conflict of interest policies that change how business gets done. As we continue to follow this developing story, one thing is clear: this lawsuit has the potential to be one of the most significant entertainment industry legal battles in recent memory. The combination of A-list celebrities, massive financial claims, and allegations of systematic misconduct creates a perfect storm that could reshape careers and industry practices. The next few weeks will be crucial as both sides present their evidence and arguments. Reynolds and his legal team will undoubtedly fight these allegations aggressively, but the damage to his reputation may already be done. In Hollywood, sometimes the accusation is almost as damaging as a conviction. We'll continue monitoring this story as it develops and bring you all the latest updates. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any breaking news about this case or other major entertainment industry stories. What do you think about these allegations? Do they change how you view Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively? Let us know in the comments below, but remember to keep things respectful, as this is still a developing legal matter. This case reminds us that behind the glamorous facade of Hollywood, there are real people whose careers and livelihoods can be affected by the actions of powerful industry figures. Whether these allegations are ultimately proven true or false, they've already started important conversations about accountability and transparency in entertainment. Stay tuned for more updates on this explosive story.